this lesson, I want to talk to you about chord tone soloing and show you a simple way to apply this concept to your lead guitar playing. This is something you can immediately start implementing in your solos and will make you more confident and sound better as a lead guitar player. So grab your guitar and let's get into it. So first of all, what is chord tone soloing? I have to admit that until recently, I had never heard that term before. Here is the first thing that comes up when you Google it. Chord tone soloing is a technique to make your solo sound in the backing track. With this technique, you're able to choose the notes that will sound best at any given moment in your solo. To simplify, I would say it is all about targeting the notes that make up each chord in the song or chord progression, with the main focus on the root note for each chord. This goes hand in hand with learning your triads. I recently did a 2-part video series on triads that I will leave links for you to check out. So whether you are talking about triads or full chords like bar chords, you have to learn the intervals that make up your chords. In this lesson, I'm only focused on the major and minor chords. The formula for a major triad is root, major third, and fifth. The formula for a minor triad is root, minor third, and fifth. So let's break down each chord in the backing track I'm using for this example. So it starts out with your 1 chord, which is the G major. Then it goes to your 5 chord, which is the D major. Then it goes to your 6 chord, which is your E minor. Then it goes to your 4 chord, which is your C major. And then back to 1. Then it starts all over from there. So let's look at the G major scale. Here are the 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then back to 1 or your root note. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then back to 1 or your root note. So G is right there, that's your root note. Your third, major third, is right there. And your fifth is right here. So G, B, and D are your 1, major third, and 5. That's going to make up your G major chord. So what we're going to do is start with this G, and the idea is to go up 4 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your major third. Right there, right there. So we're going to play the G note, we're going to hit the A and slide up to the B. So it's, and then the next thing we're going to do is hit the 5, and then we're going to go to the 6, and then back to the 1. So 1, 2, slide up to 3, 5, 6, 1. So from the G major scale, we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 1. Same thing. So this note sequence may sound familiar to you. Let me know in the comments if you know what scale we're playing. I will talk more about that toward the end of the video. So now let's break down every chord, and we're going to play a few more licks just to kind of finish out the scale. So we've got our root note, slide up to our major third, got our 5, our 6, and our 1. Now we can do the exact same thing starting with this one. So we started with this root note. 1, slide, major third, 5, 6. Now we're back at another 1. So far we've got this. Now we can start at this root note and play our 1, major third, 5, 6, back to our 1. Now we're going to go to our D major chord. So here's what that looks like. So now we're going to our E minor chord, and that formula for a minor chord is going to be a 1 minor third 5. So 1 minor third 5. And now for our fourth chord is the C. Same exact concept. Root note, slide up to major third. 5, 6, 1. So here's your 1 or root, and there's your 1 or your root. So from here we go. And then from here. So the idea and goal is to target each note of the chords during your solo. And the main note that you should be focused on with each chord is your root note. So once again, G, there's my root note, there's my root note, there's my root note, there's my root note. So with my D, here's my root note, here's my root note, there's my root note. E minor chord, root note, root note, root note. C, root note, root note, root note. In addition to your root notes, you can always land on your 3 or your 5 as well. So once you have an understanding of the intervals and the notes of each chord, it really is all about training your ear to hear these chord tones and have a sense of the best notes to land on as the chords change. So hey, if you're finding this lesson helpful, can you hit that like button? It really helps YouTube show this video to more people just like you. So thank you for doing that. Also, I would like to say thank you to Rick Taylor with RBI Music and Vintage Guitars for loaning me this guitar to use in the video. See link in description for more about vintage guitars. So now to answer the scale question that I asked earlier in the video. So let's go back to our G major chord and we're going to look at our notes. So we got our 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. So 1, 2, slide up to major 3, 5, 6, 1. And what these notes are the notes of the Major Pentatonic Scale. So this is your G Major Pentatonic Scale. Going from G to G. So now let's bring it all together and talk about some different licks we can do with each chord. So we're going to start with the G major chord. And we're just going to play some different licks now that we can do within this chord progression. So each chord gets 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to 1. So here we go, starting with our 1. To our 5. To our 6. To our 4. So now I want to play over the backing track that we've been talking about. I will leave a link in the description for this track so you can check it out and have some fun improvising over it as well. As mentioned earlier, be sure and check out my two-part video series on triads. Click the video on your screen or the links I'll leave below. Keep rocking, and I'll see you in the next video.